Howdy, howdy. Back at it again with the Marisa neutral guide. This video is going to be a little more open-ended, mainly because neutral is open-ended, right? It's not like, oh, you get this knockdown, do this setup, right? It's very much, here are sort of the options in any given moment, and these are the types of things we can do using those options. So we'll start off. My last video was like general neutral. I'm going to kind of break down the strategies and the tools that fall into each strategy for Marisa. So the first thing I talked about was jumping. Her jump in that you're going to want to use if you predict some high commitment option, generally jump heavy kick. Okay, +6 on block, use back heavy punch as a frame trap. Okay, so they can't really afford to mash on it. And back heavy punch also always combos. The worst it is on hit is +10. So you can always do this. She also can use her jump light kick. That's her cross up. If you hit it super high, you have to combo into crouch jab. But if you hit it really deep, you can combo into medium punch. Okay? That's kind of it for jump ins. She doesn't really have anything unique. She can't change her jump arc or anything like that. Okay? Next neutral skipping tool you're going to see is drive rush. Okay, for her most of the time, thing she's going to be drive rushing him with is heavy punch, combos into medium punch because it's +7 on hit, and it gives you advantage on block is +1. And if you throw right away, you can grab them. Now it's +1, which means they can technically mash a 4-framer, but if you kind of condition them by mashing jab, they shouldn't really be mashing on it that much. Okay. Other button you can do that with is medium kick. The throw then becomes a real mix-up, but if you hit it too early, obviously you're out of throw range. Her drive rush isn't great because it's not like Jury or DJ where they just sort of teleport in. It's kind of slow, but it's still something you can cover space with into plus frames, so it's good to know. Okay. Third thing I talked about in that video were pokes. So her pokes generally, medium kick, very good poke. Okay, it's fast, has long range, moves you forward. Okay, and then kind of mix it up just for timing purposes. Heavy kick, also a good poke. Things that you can do that aren't necessarily staples, I don't think. Towards medium punch, which is hit confirmable. Towards heavy kick, which is also hit confirmable into its target combo. But I don't think they're necessarily staples over neutral. They're just kind of tools you can use if you want to. One of the main tools I think that is non-negotiable that you have to use, though, is Charge Gladius. So this is really strong because it's going to catch a lot of mid-range fireballs. It's going to catch a lot of like pokes. Like if Jury wanted to do like stand heavy kick or stand medium kick from here, this would win. Okay. So that's really good. At a low level, it'll catch people doing DI. Also very good. I think most of the time, light is what you're going to want to do. But heavy's good too because it has slightly more range. So if they're trying to, for example, outspace light, heavy will hit. So it's good to mix up what versions you're doing. Medium, of course, is like somewhere in between them. But good as plus on block if they block it. Gives you, 2,800 damage if it hits. Pretty good. The other thing is you don't just always want to full charge it. You want to not charge it. You want to charge it for a little bit. Why? Because it's going to convince them to kind of react in different ways, right? They're going to be conditioned to, oh, I need to wait for it to fully charge, and then I can whiff punish, and then you can maybe throw something behind it to whiff punish their whiff punish attempt, right? That's kind of the idea. Last thing, I'll say second to last thing, her buffers. Her main buffer, I'll say, is medium punch or crouch medium punch. I think this is a very good buffer for her. It goes into light kick, quadriga, and it should go into OD Gladius. So this is good if you think they might DI or anything like that. This is just good to throw it in a range where they might whiff. If you are doing it to try to whiff punish something, OD Quadriga is really good because you can convert that into a bunch of damage if you spend drive gauge. So it's very, very dangerous in the corner to set up something like this, and then if she wants to push, depending on what she wants to push, if you hit crouch medium punch, notice that doesn't reach, but you could whiff punish with OD Quadriga and buffer behind it, so it's really powerful there. Then sort of last general neutral option is kind of the counter poke tools. I sort of already talked about that with this buffer, but sort of the whiff punish. So if you're walking into range and then walking back out, I think heavy punch is a very strong option because on punish counter is +7, so you can combo into stand medium punch TC, which then can go into OD, into this, into safe jump, into whatever, right? So it's a really powerful answer to somebody whiffing buttons in your face. Of course, things like medium kick and crouch medium punch are also strong options, but I think stand heavy punch is, if you've got very good reactions, a really good option, as is towards medium punch to kind of counter poke. Okay, so something kind of specific to Marisa I haven't talked about yet is Superman punch. So when do you use it? Well, you can use it if you're expecting a fireball, right? It has fireball invincibility starting on frame 7, and that's true of all versions, I think, except EX. It starts a little later. Excuse me, no, heavy starts later too. But light and medium both start on frame 7, and EX actually starts frame 6. So it's good to do if you're expecting a fireball, but more than that, I think it's good to do if they're respecting you too much. If they're trying to wait to check you for drive rush or jump, or they're waiting for you to do this so they can whiff punish it, that's where this is really strong, right? Once they've shown they're not going to react to what you're doing, you throw out this and it advances the screen forward, has a lot of pushback. It's plus, but that's not really the point. I think the point is to get them to interact with you again. So maybe next time they see movement, they try walking forward, they get clipped by this, right? That's kind of the idea. If you are going to throw one of these out, I would definitely say light punch. It's the least susceptible to DI. It has 25 frame startup, which is 1 frame faster than DI, and it doesn't have the accompanying whoosh and color change of your character. So I think it's generally safe to DI unless it's maybe the only thing someone's looking for. Of course, there are other ways they can deal with it. They can jab you out of it or anti-air it generally, but in terms of weakness to DI, it's not that weak to DI. Where medium punch and heavy punch especially are, if you think they're just waiting for you to leap, you can of course do OD and break their armor, but that's kind of what I would say. In terms of her counterplay towards things, her anti-air, I think this is her best anti-air. It's not very good, but it's the best she's got. Unless you're really, really keyed into it, then I think the medium punch, jump medium punch target combo is probably a little bit better. If they jump from like this range here, you can maybe jump back jab if you're really on point, but most of the time you're probably just going to want to try to perfect parry the jump in. Okay, of course that does open you up to like empty jump low, empty jump throw, things like that, but it's kind of the best option you have. Now, in terms of checking drive rush or forward advancing moves, crouch light punch to your 4-framer, that's what you should be using to try to check any sort of forward movement. And that's more or less kind of the summation of all of her neutral tools. We're gonna go watch some footage of a set that Big Bird just played with Luffy today. He just played the set today, and we will kind of examine his choices. I'm gonna try to cut out some stuff, you know, things that aren't neutral interactions or things that don't happen directly off neutral interactions, but we're just gonna kind of break down the neutral and the tools that he uses. Okay, so here we are. Luffy's playing Manon, not a surprise. So whenever you're going to kind of break down something like this, you want to say, okay, I'm getting in Big Bird's head here. What doesn't he want to have happen? Like, what's his end goal? So he doesn't want Min on what? To just get up in his face and be able to push command grab mix. He doesn't want her to be able to kind of play her game. So he's probably not going to just try to get right up in her face right away. He's going to want to convert into a knockdown and then apply pressure from there. Okay, so let's watch. So being really patient, walk forward. I mean, I know it's only been a second, but he's not throwing buttons. He's not jumping. He's not doing Superman punch. He's walking forward, trying to figure out what Luffy's doing, kind of playing it slow. Luffy's doing the same sort of thing. Okay, Luffy attacks first. Does crouch medium kick. How does Big Bird respond? Okay, let's just reset the situation. You don't get anything off that. We're fine with it. But now he's thinking, okay, I'm going to walk up into his space, and Luffy's going to push a button. Right? I need to walk him into the corner. That's where I want him. I want him back over there. I don't want him to play his game. I want to play my game. So I need to walk forward and be the aggressor. Gladius. Medium kick. Heavy kick. Right now he's being a little more buttonsy. Why? Because he's trying to convince Luffy that throwing stuff out is dangerous to do. Don't come near me. Stay over there. Back up. Back up. That's what he wants. Now he's heavy kick again. Again, same idea. Just put him in the corner. Back him up. Back him up. Walk forward. Medium kick. Okay. Luffy doesn't challenge it. You're going to see that a couple times in this set. That pretty much every time... Oh, that didn't rewind as much as I thought it did. Pretty much every time Big Bird notices that he pushes a button and somebody doesn't respond to it, he's going, okay, I'm going to Superman punch now. Because he's not looking to push buttons. But Luffy kind of catches on and expects something. And he gets it. And that's going to sort of wrap up all the neutral for this match, to be honest. There's not a lot of neutral left. Okay, so start of the second round. We started out really passive, right? Big Bird had some success being the aggressor. Kind of made me think he's going to continue that, right? Medium kick, continuing, heavy kick. Okay, so this is kind of an important concept to figure out. So he hits medium kick, and then he whiffs heavy kick. I don't think he's like trying to whiff heavy kick, but when he sees the heavy kick whiff, look at his inputs, look what he does. He tries to walk back out of range, and he gets counter hit. Why? Because he's hitting crouch medium punch. He's trying to buffer into light kick quadriga. So the idea here is he whiffs, but rather than just hold down back and hope that his opponent, you know, screws up or misses it, he tries to walk back out of range and whiff punish the whiff punish, right? That's a very important concept to kind of understand. Tries to do Gladius, then gets bopped because he tries Superman punch and doesn't get it. But let's look at why he's going for Superman punch. So I talked about this. So what happens? He's just trying to do it because Luffy's backing off. So I think the idea behind the Superman punch here is that Luffy hit stand medium kick, and then he hit crouch medium kick. So I think in Big Bird's head, he's thinking, okay, Luffy's looking for lows that are going to beat Gladius. So I'm going to do Superman punch, and he just gets SA1, unfortunately. Okay, we got some corner pressure, and then he jumps out, gets anti-aired, and that's it. There's no more neutral interactions. Okay, I lied. There's a few more neutral interactions, but not really. Nothing that matters. Okay, so game two starts very, very similarly. They're going to walk back and forth. Medium kick. I think we're sensing a strategy here, right? He wants to hit medium kick. Then, again, heavy kick. And then C does it. Same thing. We talked about this in the last game. Medium kick, heavy kick. Heavy kick whiffs. What's he try to do? Tries to back up and whiff punish the whiff punish attempt. Towards medium punch. I don't know if he's trying to bait something there or not. So we'll look at this. He does light punch Gladius. And then he hits stand heavy punch to try to catch the option to deal with the Gladius. Okay, I want to look at this too. This is what I was talking about when I was breaking down Gladius before. One of the reasons you do it is because if they try to challenge, like Luffy does here, he's like, okay, you're going to push something, I'm going to hit medium punch. He gets bopped to the tune of like 30% damage just because he tried to counter poke, basically. And okay, chat room. Jeez, this character's damage is stupid. I mean, I love her, but this character's damage is stupid. Okay, so far every round has pretty much started the same, right? Walk back, because we're not really scared of Manon from full screen. Try to figure out how to play her. Okay, so this is important. Superman punch here. Why does it work? Why does this get blocked? Well, because he's been playing really passively. Most other rounds, he's done walk back and then walk forward medium kick. Here he just goes straight into Superman punch. And then he tries to do it again and gets super, which is unfortunate for him. But it makes me feel better about myself. Okay, medium kick. So here, medium kick. This time he just blocks the whiff punish attempt. Okay, now we're back to neutral. So walk back and forth with Gladius. Medium kick, medium kick. Stand heavy kick. You see it again though, stand heavy kick. And then he tries to do Gladius here and it just doesn't come out. Whiff Gladius. Medium kick. I did a Superman punch. Why did he Superman punch there? Let's look at it. So once again, he's doing medium kick and Luffy's not doing anything about it. Right, he's whiffing buttons, he's whiffing Gladius, he's whiffing medium kicks. Luffy's not doing anything. So he tries Superman punch to catch the option to walk him forward there. Charge Gladius, back heavy punch. Gladius, you're not doing anything? Okay, stand heavy punch. Superman punch, let's do it again. And now we're into Oki. And, okay, chat room. I mean, seriously, this character's, like, Minano deserved to die there? I don't know. Yes, she did. I hate that character. Okay, so this isn't the third game they played, but I wanted to watch it just because it looks a little different. So I wanted to watch this game. So up until this point, you've seen Big Bird be really patient, right? I mean, the last game he started with Superman punch, but for the most part, he's been really patient. Stand medium kick, blocks heavy kick, still being patient. Does a little bit here. But now he's being a little more buttonsy. So again, this is good. So we charge Gladius here. And so this is the thing, right? Let's look at this. So like Gladius. And now this doesn't look like it should be in range. Ooh, look at that frame. Look at Marisa's face in that frame. Charge the stand heavy punch Gladius. Charge the heavy punch Gladius. And it just has more range than Luffy thinks it does. That's why you want to mix up the strengths. Because even like a one-time, you know, I don't want to say one time, but even though a former Evo champion like Luffy can get hit by that. Okay, you see there, that's what I was talking about. This is that close range jump that you really don't have an answer for with this character. I mean, really the only option there is to try to parry, gets baited out. Okay, we're back to neutral. What are our options here? We're being really patient, really patient. I think mainly because he's trying to recover drive gauge, right? Like that's the big idea. Still being patient, doesn't have drive gauge. I'm not sure that he wanted walk forward medium, or that he wanted towards medium punch. I think maybe he wanted walk forward medium punch, but I could be wrong. Okay, this first round, right, starting completely wild, starts with Superman punch, gets blocked, then jumps forward. Why does this jump forward work? This is the first time, I think this is the 4th game they played, this is the first time in the entire set that Angry Bird, I think, jumped that wasn't part of a setup. So, starts with Superman punch, and then immediately hits up forward. Why? Because Luffy's not expecting it. That's why it works, right? Because Luffy's expecting him to walk forward, hit medium kick. And that's why he challenges here. But he catches the poke because he did forward jump for the first time. And again, this is what I was talking about. This character really doesn't want to play neutral. How many neutral interactions happened in this whole game? Literally 2, right? The round start, and then the jump. I mean, honestly, there were 2 neutral interactions in that whole game. Everything else was Oki. Okay, so we just started Hog Wild. So now, probably back to the conservative approach. Stand medium punch. Whiff it. Okay, so this is kind of that whiff punish setup that he's looking for before. So, charging Gladius. Out of range. But rather than just try to block, right, be like, oh man, I hope he's late in his whiff punish, he goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to buffer my crouching medium punch into light kick Quadriga. Right? And I'm going to punish his whiff punish attempt. Once again, doesn't really have an answer to that close range jump. And now he just gets bullied in the corner. We'll watch the level 3. But I know this wasn't maybe as concrete as some people were hoping for, but this is really similar to teaching somebody how to play, you know, guitar, right? Neutral is really hard, right? I can teach you chords, I can tell you what you're supposed to do in certain situations, but I can't tell you how exactly to put the chords together. I can't tell you when you should anti-air with crouch heavy punch versus medium punch target combo and, you know, jump medium punch TC. I can't tell you when you should do Gladius versus medium kick or anything like that. You sort of just have to trial and error. Just think about incorporating things in your gameplay. Think about what your opponent's doing, right? Kind of, I broke down some of that stuff in my last video on general neutral strategy. Think about what your options are that'll beat the things that they're doing, right? Think about what they're going to want to do to beat what you're currently doing. Again, hopefully this was helpful. And as always, have a good time.